I will try to explain why I'm saying that FEMA flood maps are a fraud. So this is the image of my property. You can see the marks, and this is the area that was on FEMA map in 2019 when I purchased the property in May. However, in October, FEMA updated the maps and included my pretty much the most useful part of my property, where I have the all the structure included in a floodplain. Now, I did the following thing because I was suspicious about that, and first I thought that since it was 2019, the only change that happened was that the ownership of the property changed. So I thought, oh, okay, so maybe some FEMA employees, they did the same, they did like they did in Florida. They tried to persecute people with different political orientations. So, but then I went and I checked my previous properties in Oregon, and which I knew they were not in the floodplain, and surprise, also a lot of new properties. So FEMA changed and dated this at October 18, 2019, so just after I purchased it. So I thought the political persecution may be not the reason, since I've seen so many property that they've been included in the floodplain after 2019, 2020, and so on. So it's obvious that, I guess FEMA wants more revenues, and we do really have, obviously, bad system. So you have an entity, FEMA, that they define the flood plain maps, and they do benefit with increased revenues if they include more properties on the floodplain. So anyway, I'm going to show later what I did. I was very suspicious because you see, this is a street level here, and this is not included on the flood map. And I guess even visually, I thought it's well seen. It's very hard to do that filming because you don't have, like we have two eyes, so we have a better perception of the depth and elevations. But anyway, it was obvious to me that this is a fraud because the street level is actually about 16 inch below the house level here. So what I did, I use a simple system to measure this elevation. I'm going to show later, where I use a laser leveling tool and a stick. So I took a profile from the back of my garden through the house to the street and further, and also I measured the ditch depth compared with the level of this line here. So what I find out, let me see if I can get there very fast. Let me see this one. Okay. So these two lines, the red, it's the ground level. This is a porch in front of my house, the ground level there. And this is a level of the creek relative to master ground zero location here. So anyway, so what I see that the upper end of elevation of the ground, the difference from the base level of the water is about 10 feet. And here, right next to the culvert, it's 14 feet. So this is a drainage area that goes very well. I mean, the ground, it provides drainage. The depth of the ditch or the canyon, it's so big and it's carved in stone. So that will never, and actually there's no history. The house is about 51 years old right now, but it was another property here. It was wood mill before. So basically in 100 years, it was no flooding. And also this is we are in a mountain basically, and it's a high slope. So on the property, the average slope is about 4.25 feet in 250 yards. 250 feet. And the creek has even a steeper slope, 5.25 in 250 feet. It's 250 feet what I used to do all these measurements. So so basically the street is not included on the latest flood map, but it is 16 feet below the ground zero at the house. So somehow FEMA created a wall here. It's like a cosmic bullshit wall that hold the water. And of course, it's no reason to believe that the creek itself will get to spill water outside of the banks. Also, just passing the street, you have another 20 feet drop on the channel of the ditch of Cougar Creek, because Cougar Creek, is doing a loop here and it's close to the street here. So going back to the latest flood map, what we have here, we have the culvert, and we have the creek that is impossible to go over, basically. But then this area is supposed to be a floodplain. The street that is lower is not actually in the floodplain. So that's obvious that this is a fake map, right? So I'm going to show you further a little bit about how I did the measurements. You can see how this thing works. You use a stick, and here is a base level, and then you have the projection, and you can go with the stick there and measure the actually level at that location where you have the stick. I am at the culvert, and I just want to show how the level measurement is done with the laser. You get actually that the base level from the laser position, and it's projecting a light everywhere. Today is December 28th. We had continuously raining the last 5-6 days, and this is basically the high level of the water here next to the culvert. I don't know if you can see, I have a base, a line, the base line. Let me put a little bit of magnification. Okay, so this is basically the level where the water needs to be above that level in order to go to my baseline, which is a cement plate in front of my porch. So the water level would be basically filling the whole culvert here. Well, from what I see, from the elevation slope of the creek and the speed of the water, to have that much raise of the waters will be impossible, at least in my life. So in fact, in the last 70 years, where people were living on my property here, it was never any flooding in this area, from this creek at least. So these are the measurements with a stick here, and here is the base level. Now if I go with the stick at the street level, I'll have 16 inch above the base. So that means that the street is below the base, 16 inch. And then if I go on the back of the property, on the back of the garden, I have the mark here, which is about 3 feet below the base level, which means that this location is 3 feet higher, okay, elevation-wise. Today is Sunday, January 19, 2025. I just want to show you underneath the culvert how deep is the channel of the creek, and this is pretty much a very short creek. Doesn't have a big basin. Yeah, the sun is coming out. We get the sun showing on my property around midday this time of the year, and yeah, you can see this area down there where is a house. It's supposed to be on that floodplain, and yeah, I agree the street is a higher level here where I am right now, but in front of the house, right in front of the house, the level is about 16 inch below. You can see that as soon as I get closer. In fact, there is another slope toward the direction I go through, so it's the ground is going lower. So anyway, let's say right now that is a position where they are the street is below the ground, base ground, about 16 inch, and is going even further down toward this direction in front of me. Also, so this is lower, this is a lower elevation than my ground right now on the street. And then on the other side of the road, we have this big ditch which is very deep. You cannot even see the water. That's Cougar Creek. After making a loop, it's down there, so it's over 20, 30 feet below. So drain, it's very easy from my property. Everything goes down, so there's no way it's going to be flooded anytime. So FEMA is committing a fraud just to make more money, or whatever reason, maybe political reasons, to hurt rural properties, I think. Then I guess our county didn't realize that actually FEMA is putting them in the middle, because the county is the entity that signed and approved the building. All these structures on my property, they're approved by the county, so they will have this huge liability. Additional to that, FEMA use LiDAR mapping system, and the resolution of that is about 3 feet. I mean, that means probably it's 1 meter resolution. So imagine that resolution. It's quite rough, mostly when you evaluate a ditch of a small creek like we have. As I seen on other properties I had in Oregon, they're not on the floodplain in 2019, but now they are. From 2020 or 2019, at the end of the year, FEMA went and they just changed, put every property that has a little bit of a creek, even a creek with no name, they put it on the floodplain. Yeah, more money for them, more liability for each county, and of course, it's a very big effect on a property. The complication of having your property on the flood map is enormous. You cannot even imagine how deep it's go and how much the people are affected. I feel I couldn't sleep the first week I heard that news, so I had problems sleeping, and I cannot take it out of my mind. This is a war against private property. It's a communist idea.